Come and join me today if you want to learn how to make an alternative design to the traditional triangle using this gorgeous wooden box. Welcome back to another tutorial. Now I think this is design number 3 where I've used this gorgeous little white and grey box, and I'm going to do a design this time similar to a triangle but different, and I'm going to use the same flowers that I used in that previous arrangement, so I can't make them any longer than they were in the design before. So I'm a bit limited to the height that I can do. And the idea behind these videos is to show you that flowers are quite versatile and you don't necessarily have to have exactly what's in the picture to create an amazing floral design. So if we look at this one, today I've raised the foam above the edge of the container. Previously we did it below the edge of the container. What that extra inch will do on the top is allow me to bring flowers out to the side to create a bit more of a formal shape. And that's going to be more beneficial for me today in creating more of a formal arrangement. So what we're going to start with, or what I'm going to start with, I always say we, but there is only me, is these fabulous twigs. And I'm going to start first of all by creating some height and group a few of these together in the middle. So traditional designs are generally at least twice the height of the container, and that's the sort of proportions I'm working on. It doesn't have to be perfect, it's just a guide, something to help you if you're new to floral design. That one I think is going to extend the height too much for me, remembering that I'm a bit limited to the height of my other flowers. So at the moment I'm really central in the foam. I haven't created any width, but that gives me the center part of my arrangement, and I've arranged at the back of the foam in the center. Now I'm not planning on putting any greenery behind this group of flowers here. If I had, I've caused myself a bit of a problem because I haven't allowed myself enough room in the foam there at the back. So if you are putting greenery in, you might want to consider putting that in first. But what I'm going to do next is put in the width. So with the pieces of box that came out of that previous design, I'm going to give myself some arms. So these are going to come out fairly symmetrically on both sides. And if you look at the placement, I'm back in the foam. I'm not forward here. I'm allowing myself all of this front part of the foam to arrange into, so it will give the arrangement plenty of depth. Are they matching? Possibly not, but I'm not going to worry about it yet, because by the time I've added in all my flowers, you're probably not going to notice. And this is going to create the front of my arrangement. I'm not squat and short, I'm nice and long, so my arrangement is wide and we have that depth. And then I'm going to place another position in between to help identify my outline shape. There is a point and then I'm coming back towards the side. This one isn't playing ball. He wants to poke up in the air, and that's not a good look in a floral design. Everything on the edge needs to angle downwards towards the desk, not up in the air like flappy wings or the shape of a banana or a boat. Angle it downwards. So that gives me width and it gives me height. If we follow a line from the top to the bottom, this area here needs to be filled in. And you can do that with greenery that matches the bottom. And it's best to do this with greenery that matches the bottom, or you have a design that looks like it's made up of 2 different parts. And then with the smaller pieces that I've got left over, I'm going to use these towards the middle, and it links the rest of the design together. So we don't have one part that has box in it and another part that doesn't. I'm trying to evenly spread it out. Now the other greenery that I used in the arrangement was eucalyptus. And what I'm going to do here now is create some sides. And I'm doing this facing the camera, so I'm hoping this is working out quite well. Now what I don't want to do, but you can do it if you like it, is put 2 matching pieces on either side. I find that too formal. So I'm going to slightly move that over and bring this up a bit higher so they're not perfectly matching on either side. If you think about nature and you look at shrubs and trees and bushes, they don't match on both sides. They're not perfect. If you're somebody that has the need to create symmetry and balanced material on either side, then by all means find 2 matching pieces. But that's not the style for me. I'm now going to use the greenery that was left over from the very first design that I did in this cube. And incidentally, if you don't have an exact same design as I've got in the base, then just look for something that's similar in shape. So this is obviously a cube. You could use a round one, you could use a flower pot, but you need something with a bit of height in it. And that is my outline shape. Top all the way down to give me almost a triangle. And then with the remainder of my little white twigs, I'm going to slightly spread them out, just reinforcing the outline shape that I've created, and a little bit towards the front to help give an equal distribution of all the different types of material. Next, I think I'll use that wonderful Calicarpa berry, and that is going to work really nicely up at the heights on either side of my imaginary centre line. So if you think of a triangle shape, you think of a line down the middle, I'm trying to balance off the colours and the textures on either side. And now what I'm going to do is break away a little bit from tradition, and I'm going to use the hydrangea head quite close to the foam to help cover the foam and to bring me a bit of visual weight at the bottom. So this is going to help bring that white colour to the bottom. You might not have the luxury of having a large hydrangea head like that, and you could easily replace it with one from the garden. But if you don't have anything big like that, just add a bit of extra greenery. But what that's done is very quickly covered my floral foam. And then I'm going to use my fresh flowers in 2 groups on either side. So I'm breaking away a little bit with tradition, because traditionally we would balance the colour and texture out. But I'm just thinking it would be nice to see something a little different. So what I've done here is I've grouped my coconut chrysanthemums on one side of the arrangement, and I'm going to do the same then with my roses on the opposite side. It's bringing down quite a solid focal line down through the front. My poor roses have been used now in 3 different arrangements, and I can't make them any longer, but they're going to give me a really lovely contrast on the opposite side. It's a very different shape, head, colour is different, the texture is different, and it's going to work really nicely on the opposite side to give me a nice heavy visual placement. And then I'm going to place my gypsophila, and if you remember back to the previous video, or if you haven't watched the video, then I'm going to link it here, and you can pop back and you can have a look at what I created with the flowers in the previous design. But the gyp had been left over from a previous arrangement, so I didn't have a great deal of it. But that's going to help just again fill in, add another texture, and really pull all the arrangement together. Then I'm going to use my eucalyptus gum nuts. These are going to come on the right hand side as you look at the arrangement, because it's a little bit flat there because I haven't got a large flower on that outside edge. I've almost created a very heavy centre part, so now I need to get my eye to travel towards the outside, and hopefully I can do that with the grey eucalyptus. And this is really going to help link with the grey colouring in the base as well, so it's got 2 uses. The taller one I'll place up a little bit higher. And if you haven't got anything similar to this, just think about another material that looks similar. It could be spray carnations, could be a little lisianthus, it might be some berries that you've got growing in the garden. And just like I did with the flowers at the front, I've grouped all of that eucalyptus onto one side. And to complement my gypsophila on the left side of the arrangement, I'm going to add in those silvery twigs. Now, if you don't like the groupings of materials on either side, then you can spread them out and balance them off more evenly. But I just wanted to show you a different way of arranging flowers. Now, I feel there's a bit of a gap just here in the centre, so I do have one more of the pussy willow, so that will probably work quite nicely in there. Now, I think that's a lovely alternative to a very traditional triangle. I'm just going to pop some greenery in here at the back to make sure my floral foam is covered. Now, this one would be quite a good design to do with a supermarket mixed bunch, because you often get flowers in that bouquet that are in sets of 3, and you could do 2 lines down either side of the floral design. It's important that your floral foam is always covered so that it doesn't dehydrate, and it's important to be able to rehydrate that foam as well. So consider leaving a small gap somewhere at the back so you can get your jug or your watering can in, and then your flower arrangement is going to stay nice and fresh for you over Christmas. Now, I hope you've enjoyed that one. That's the 3rd design and the final design in this little square box. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, then please do so. A huge proportion of the viewers aren't subscribed. It doesn't cost anything, and you do really only have to press the subscribe button. There's no trick. I'm not going to ask you for any money. Remember to like and comment in the box below. You will also find some discount codes in there relating to our online courses. Let me know where you're watching from and what you think of my floral design today, and I'll be back soon with some more ideas for Christmas. Thanks for watching, and goodbye for now.